Think deli meat is just a quick, tasty lunch? For seniors, those pre-sliced sandwiches are silent killers. Listeria hiding behind clean deli counters in meats you trusted without a warning. One slice can turn simple confusion into hospitalization. In this video, we expose 8 deli meats that seniors can't afford to ignore before it's already too late. Starting with number 8, the salami recall panic. It looked like a safe, ordinary cold cut, but for seniors, one slice was enough to turn a simple snack into a medical emergency. 65 products, one countrywide panic. Families pulled salami from fridges like it was any other Tuesday. Moms slicing it for kids' sandwiches, grandparents cutting neat rounds for snacks. All the while, salmonella was sitting inside those slices, grinning. You can't smell it, you can't see it, but give it a few hours in your gut and you'll wish you never met it. This wasn't just a check-your-label situation. Canada's health agency had to recall over 65 deli salami and cacciatore products in one sweep. Ages of the sick? From 1-year-old toddlers to 100-year-old seniors. 9 people ended up in the hospital. That's not food poisoning. That's hope you've updated your will territory. Now picture that on a sandwich for your grandkids. Inside the neat casings was a slimy interior, the kind of slime that clings to the knife and refuses to wash off. The meat sweats? They weren't harmless moisture. They were warm, sticky little greenhouses for bacteria. And every bite was a gamble between tastes fine and call an ambulance. Salmonella doesn't just cause a stomachache. In older adults, it can mean weeks of weakness, dangerous dehydration, or even blood infections. That innocent cold cut could be the reason you can't stand up without help. And here's the kicker. People kept eating it before the news broke because there was no obvious warning. It looked normal. It smelled normal. The perfect camouflage for something that wants to ruin your week. What's the most disgusting thing you've ever found hiding in perfectly fine meat? Do let us know in the comments. But at least this one made headlines and got pulled from shelves. The next meat, it could be sitting in your fridge right now, and no one's hit publish on the news alert yet. At number 7, Oscar Mayer's turkey bacon recall. Marketed as the healthy choice, but for seniors, it was a hidden risk that could turn breakfast into a nightmare. Oscar Mayer had to pull 368,000 pounds of their turkey bacon because of possible Listeria contamination. That's not a typo. That's a tractor trailer worth of light breakfast suddenly treated like biohazard waste. No illnesses were reported, but for older adults, that risk isn't something you shrug off. Listeria can hit seniors harder than a freight train, and it doesn't care that the label says lean. Picture it. Cold, clammy slices that look cooked, smell fine, and slide right onto the pan. They sit there, sizzling like nothing's wrong. But inside, an invisible invader built for the cold. Listeria doesn't die in your fridge, it throws a house party in there. And reheating? Sometimes it survives that too, clinging to the meat like it paid rent. It's not breakfast, it's bacterial roulette. For seniors, this bacteria isn't just a day-off work bug. It can lead to high fever, muscle aches, confusion, and in severe cases, blood infections or meningitis. One breakfast sandwich could put you in a hospital gown before lunch, and because it hides without changing the color or smell, you can't trust your senses to protect you. Listeria's favorite trick? Surviving where you store your food. It doesn't care if it's wrapped, sealed, or sitting in a fancy meat drawer. If it's in there, it's waiting, which means your better-for-you turkey bacon might be better at taking you down than any greasy strip of pork ever was. And the worst part, this recall was a near miss. No reported illnesses doesn't mean no one ate it. It just means some people got lucky. How many seniors ate a plate that looked perfect, felt proud of their healthy choice, and had no clue they were rolling the dice? Have you ever trusted a healthy product, only to find out later it was on a recall list? Share your experience with us. And if you think a mountain of turkey bacon was bad, wait until you see the next pile of regret. This one made the last recall look like a toddler's lunch plate. Coming in at number 6, the 10 million pound recall. What looked like endless stacks of ready-to-eat deli meat turned out to be one of the largest bacterial time bombs ever pulled from US shelves. 10 million pounds. Let that sink in. That's how much ready-to-eat deli meat and poultry Bruce Pack had to recall because of possible Listeria contamination. 10 million pounds isn't a recall. It's a meat apocalypse. Whole warehouses of safe lunch meat suddenly turned into hazardous waste, and it all started with bacteria that thrives in places you'll never see. Picture this. Tall racks stacked with meat, the kind you'd see in a glossy food factory video. Now add condensation dripping down those racks. Tiny drops sliding into cracks, pooling in corners, soaking into the air like invisible poison. That warm, wet film is Listeria's version of a 5-star spa. It's where it settles in, breeds, and waits for a free ride into someone's sandwich. If bacteria had a parade, this would be it. And when a recall hits this scale, it shows just how big the contamination net can be. We're not talking about a single batch or one bad shift. 10 million pounds means weeks, maybe months of product moving across the country before anyone sounded the alarm. Grocery store coolers, restaurant prep tables, even your own fridge. For seniors, this isn't a better safe than sorry moment. Listeria can turn a lunch into a medical emergency in hours. Fever, headaches, confusion, the kind of symptoms people mistake for just feeling off until it's too late. And because this bacteria survives refrigeration, every day it sat in your deli drawer, it was still alive, still multiplying. It's easy to think, well, they caught it, so no harm done. But that ignores the silent meals that slipped through. How many people sat down with a plate that looked perfect and never knew they'd rolled the dice? If you're picturing some neat, sterile recall process, don't. Behind the scenes, it's pallets of meat shrink-wrapped in plastic, sweating under warehouse lights, tagged for destruction. The smell isn't just meat, it's cold, wet, metallic, with a sour edge that clings to your clothes. Ever eaten something you later found out was part of a recall? Did you feel lucky or just sick thinking about it? Drop your thoughts below. But here's the kicker, sometimes the danger doesn't start in the factory at all. Sometimes it's brewing right where you buy it. Number 5, the deli counter trap. The friendly slicer, the shiny blade, it feels fresh and safe until one cut carries more than you bargained for. That friendly guy slicing your ham, he might be handing you Listeria, not on purpose, but the truth is deli counters are a bacterial theme park. The CDC found that even with cold storage, contamination can run wild. Why? Because cold doesn't kill Listeria, it just keeps it fresh. Your lunch meat's vacation home is a fridge. Think about meat slicers. You see a shiny blade. What you don't see are the dried bits wedged deep in joints, screws, and seams. Those spots don't touch cleaning brushes. They don't see sanitizer. They're warm from constant use and damp from condensation. It's like a luxury condo for bacteria, right there in the lunch rush. Cross-contamination happens fast. The slicer cuts one tainted roast beef, and within minutes, that same blade has streaked bacteria across turkey, ham, and salami. Then those meats get wrapped, labeled, and sold like nothing happened. By the time you get home, it's already a Russian roulette in your fridge drawer. One slice, 3 seconds, all bets off. The CDC says these counter cases make up nearly all U.S. listeriosis cases. That's not an exaggeration. For seniors, it's brutal. Listeria can cause fever, chills, muscle aches, nausea, and confusion. Symptoms that look like just a bad day until someone collapses. And here's the kicker. It can take weeks for symptoms to show, so you might never connect it to that quick lunch you had 2 Tuesdays ago. Staff forums describe the mess. Meat slicers that look clean but reek when taken apart. Bristles on brushes worn down to nubs. Drip trays left slimy because we'll get it tomorrow. Those tomorrows are exactly when Listeria throws a party. For older adults with weaker immune systems, one contaminated sandwich can mean hospitalization. And no, that cute little freshly sliced Deli sign doesn't guarantee anything except that they own a slicer. Ever seen your deli actually take apart and scrub a slicer? Or do they just spray and pray? Here's the part nobody wants to hear. The meat isn't always the main problem. Sometimes it's the counter, the blade, the hands, and the prep surfaces all conspiring together. And here's why these counter cases make up nearly all U.S. listeriosis cases. Here at number 4, 9 out of 10 Listeria cases tied to deli meat. The cold cuts you trust most are the very ones driving nearly every outbreak. 9 out of 10 cases from one food group. That's not clickbait. That's the CDC's cold, clinical math. Over 90% of U.S. listeriosis cases come from deli meats. Not raw chicken, not bad oysters, cold cuts. The thing you trust to be safe because it's behind glass and wrapped in paper. Your sandwich is a Trojan horse. Listeria isn't some lazy germ. It's stealthy. It thrives in cold, wet environments where normal cleaning doesn't reach. And for seniors, it's not just a bad afternoon in the bathroom. It's fever, chills, muscle aches, and confusion so severe it's mistaken for a stroke. That confusion, it's not just getting older. It's your brain struggling while bacteria spreads through your blood. In hours, it can escalate to sepsis, your body's emergency alarm, except this alarm means your organs are under attack. Think of it like letting a burglar into your bloodstream. By the time you realize something's wrong, they've already looted the place. Here's the kicker. Listeria symptoms can take weeks to appear. So when your legs buckle or you wake up in a hospital bed, the culprit might be that ham sandwich you ate 2 Thursdays ago. Still think it's just a sandwich? The odds are ugly. If 9 out of 10 cases come from one food group, every cold-cut platter is like spinning a revolver in a game you didn't agree to play. And your fancy choice doesn't save you. Listeria doesn't care if it's bargain bologna or $20 a pound prosciutto. How does it spread so easily? Dirty slicers. Not dirty like visibly crusted in slime, dirty like invisible meat shavings wedged into screws and seams. Staff forums describe cleaning as wiping the blade and calling it a day. Meanwhile, inside the machine, yesterday's turkey is slowly fermenting into a germ bomb. The next roast beef to pass through? Now it's a carrier too. For someone young with a healthy immune system, that might mean mild food poisoning. For someone over 65, it's a direct ticket to an ICU bed. And hospitals don't advertise this, but listeriosis in seniors has one of the highest foodborne death rates. A whistleblower from a regional chain once said, "We only broke down the slicer once a week if we remembered." Now picture a week's worth of cross-contamination feeding dozens of customers. That's not just unsafe, that's a petri dish with a price tag. Have you ever actually seen your deli pull the entire slicer apart and scrub it? Or is it more of a quick wipe and a good enough? Right down below. The reality is simple. 9 out of 10 means there's no safe bet. And while that statistic alone is bad, one brand's outbreak proved it could be far worse. Because when an outbreak sweeps through more than 60 products in one shot, the numbers aren't just scary, they're lethal. Number 3. Boar's Head and the deadly outbreak. A brand people thought they could trust, but for seniors, those premium slices turned into a deadly mistake. 59 hospitalizations, 10 dead, all traced back to a trusted deli meat brand. That's the body count from Boar's Head's Listeria outbreak, spread across 19 states in 2024. And the source wasn't some sketchy back-alley butcher. It was a shiny Virginia processing plant that supplies grocery stores, delis, and premium meat counters nationwide. Inside that plant, health inspectors found walls blooming with mold, not a little discoloration in a corner, full-on green-black blooms creeping upward like some fungus horror movie set. And right there, in that air, your meat was sliced, packaged, and shipped. You can bleach a counter, but you can't unrot a wall. Here's where it gets ugly for seniors. Listeria doesn't just make you queasy. For older adults, it can mean brain infections, septic shock, and death. That's not overreaction. That's the CDC's own case data. Those 10 deaths, most were people over 65. And that's not a coincidence. Listeria loves weakened immune systems. Now, pair that with a plant where inspectors literally documented condensation dripping from moldy ceilings onto processing equipment. That's like rinsing your ham in a bacterial smoothie. Once Listeria gets into a facility, it hides in drains, conveyor belts, and every hairline crack in the floor. And because this is cold, refrigerated meat, the bacteria doesn't die. It thrives. Whistleblowers say cleanup was more of a spray and pray job. One former employee claimed, "We'd wipe the obvious spots, then keep running product. Deadlines mattered more than deep cleaning." Translation: if it didn't smell bad enough to gag the boss, it shipped. Think about that the next time you watch a deli clerk layer those perfect pink slices onto paper. They're not just handing you meat, they might be handing you 3 weeks of bacterial incubation. And here's the disturbing kicker. This wasn't their first recall. Boar's Head has had past incidents involving Listeria concerns, but the brand's premium reputation keeps people loyal because marketing wins until your immune system loses. Now, let's talk numbers. 19 states, more than 60 products pulled from shelves, one single facility linked to it all. That's not an accident, that's systemic failure. And every failure means someone's grandmother didn't wake up from what should have been just a headache. Would you still buy from a brand if you knew moldy walls and dripping ceilings were part of its prep process? Or is that your personal deal breaker? Here's the real problem. There's no way for a customer to see this coming. You can't smell Listeria, you can't taste it, and by the time symptoms show up, it's too late to return the product. So the next time someone tells you Boar's Head is worth the extra money, maybe ask them if that premium price includes a complimentary hospital bracelet. So if a brand with premium in its DNA can ship Listeria-laced meat nationwide, think about the food-hiding danger in a product you never thought to question. Runner-up at number 2, the grab-and-go sandwich outbreak. Convenient on the outside, but for older adults, these sealed packs became silent hospital tickets. Grab and go, and straight to the ER. Fresh and ready foods was supposed to make life easier. Prepare Pre-packed sandwiches you could pull from the fridge and eat instantly. No prep, no mess. But in 2024, they also came with something extra. A multi-state Listeria outbreak that sent people to hospitals instead of lunch breaks. Inspectors traced it to their California facility, the same place pumping out wraps, hoagies, and croissant sandwiches for big-name grocery chains, gas stations, and corporate cafeterias. Think about that next time you grab one between errands. You're not buying lunch, you're buying a bacterial time capsule. These sandwiches weren't just old. They were trapped in plastic for days, sweating under their own condensation. That's perfect for Listeria, cold-loving bacteria that can survive, even multiply, in a fridge. You can chill it, but you can't kill it. For seniors, this isn't a mild, I'll sleep it off bug. Listeria in older adults can mean meningitis, septicemia, and yes, death. According to the CDC, nearly everyone hospitalized in this outbreak was over 65, and many never left the hospital. Workers on staff forums described rush pack days, where sandwiches skipped proper cooling times before sealing. One ex-packer said, "You'd see condensation on the bread before it was even wrapped, but the truck schedule came first." Translation, your turkey club was already sweating before it hit the shelf. The horror here isn't just the bacteria, it's the design. These are pre-assembled products with multiple wet ingredients layered together. Mayo, lettuce, tomato slices, soft cheese. Each one is another surface for bacteria to cling to. The more surfaces, the more hiding spots. Once Listeria gets into that stack, it's basically a slow-release sickness wrapped in paper. You're not eating lunch, you're eating time-release trouble. And you can't tell by looking. The bread stays fluffy, the meat stays pink, the lettuce still crunches. Listeria doesn't smell bad. It doesn't look moldy. It waits. Fresh and Ready recalled more than 400 products across multiple states. That's everything from chicken salad croissants to breakfast wraps. And here's the kicker. Many of these were sold in hospitals and nursing homes. The exact places where people are most at risk. Whistleblowers say cleaning wasn't exactly surgical. One admitted, "If we were behind, we'd just wipe the table edges and keep going." And the slicing machines? Those blades can harbor bacteria in tiny scratches you'll never see. You can't scrub those out with a rag and wishful thinking. So what's the takeaway? If you're over 65, pregnant, or immunocompromised, these convenient sandwiches are basically playing Russian roulette with your health. Except in this game, the bullet moves in slow motion, and you don't see it until you're in an ER bed wondering why your head feels like it's splitting in two. Have you ever unwrapped something fresh only to realize it might actually be dangerous? What happened next? Because if a brand selling to hospitals can ship bacteria-packed sandwiches straight to patient rooms, just wait until you hear about the next one. It's the final strike you never saw coming. And finally, at number 1, the tuna salad time bomb. The safest-looking deli choice turned out to be the most dangerous of all, with no warning for anyone who trusted it. The safest-looking choice can be the deadliest. You stroll past the fried chicken, the greasy pizza squares, the suspicious sushi, and you land on tuna salad. It's fish. It's light. It's safe, you tell yourself. But in 2024, the FDA had to recall prepackaged tuna salad across multiple states for Listeria contamination. Here's the part they don't print on the sticker. Those mayo-slicked fish chunks sitting in the cold case? They're a bacteria party waiting for the lights to go out. Listeria loves the cold. It's not killed by refrigeration. It thrives in it. So that spotless deli case? For seniors, it might as well be an ICU incubator with a help yourself sign. That fresh tuna has been sweating in plastic for days. Inspectors found contamination in the processing plant. Think vats of tuna, tubs of mayo, crates of celery, all being mixed, portioned, and sealed in little plastic coffins. And then, straight into refrigerated display cases where bacteria can slow burn into dangerous levels. An ex-worker told a staff forum, "If the batch ran late, we'd throw it in the cooler before it cooled all the way." Packaging warm tuna? You could see condensation fogging the lid. That moisture? Perfect for Listeria to cling to and multiply, and completely invisible to you when you peel it open. For anyone with a healthy immune system, Listeria can still hit hard. Fever, diarrhea, days of misery. But for seniors, it's a different story. This bacteria can cause meningitis, blood infections, and, yes, death. The CDC has made it clear. Older adults are at the highest risk, and it gets worse. Tuna salad isn't just one ingredient. It's multiple potential contamination points. Fish, mayo, chopped veggies, sometimes even boiled eggs. Each one adds another surface for bacteria to hide in. Once it's mixed, you can't tell which bite is the dangerous one. You don't smell the danger, you eat it. Listeria doesn't stink. It doesn't change the taste. Your tuna salad could look picture perfect while carrying a microscopic hitman. And you'll never know until you're doubled over, wondering why your head is pounding like a bass drum. The recall covered hundreds of units sold in major grocery chains and smaller delis. Some even went to hospitals and senior centers, the exact places that should be safest. That's like serving up a flu buffet in the middle of a retirement home. One whistleblower claimed, the slicers and mixing paddles weren't broken down and sanitized every time, just a rinse. And bacteria in those crevices, they don't rinse off. They wait for the next batch, and the next, and the next, until they end up in yours. So here's the reality. That safe lunch special could be the last thing you eat, especially if you're over 65, pregnant, or have a weakened immune system. And no, the deli clerk smiling at you while weighing it out doesn't make it cleaner. Ever eaten something light and healthy only to regret it hours later? Spill the story. We want details. The next deli meat recall could already be in your fridge. Don't wait for the warning to hit the news. Hit subscribe now so you'll know before your lunch becomes a health emergency and before Listeria gets the first bite.